Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last episode of the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast of 2022. I am your host, Sarah Brookbank. Like I said, today is the last episode of the podcast for the year. We will return on January 9th, 2023, after a holiday break. I want to say thank you to all of you who have tuned in or watched the podcast this year. We really appreciate it, and we are so excited to bring you even more great guests in 2023. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Haran. Speaking of CVG, today on the podcast, we are joined by Mindy Kershner, Senior Manager of Communications at CVG. She highlights all of the airport's great wins this year and what they're looking forward to in 2023. On NKY at Work, Nancy Spivey will be joined by Dr. Abdullah Al Bahrani, an economist and the Interim Associate Dean of Graduate Studies and Research at the Haile College of Business at Northern Kentucky University. He shares how employers can leverage their relationship with Haile College of Business to help their businesses with talent acquisition and continued education. If you haven't heard yet, we have just announced the details for the Women's Initiative 14th Annual Breakfast, sponsored by PNC, which is coming up on Thursday, February 16th. This event welcomes both men and women, as well as current and future Northern Kentucky Chamber members. Our keynote speaker this year is Jess Averhart, and she will present The Power of Reinvention, how to stay relevant and personally inspired in the workplace, centered around how business leaders can fight burnout and support one another. You can register for this event and find more details at nkychamber.com/events. Thank you. Now let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and Nancy and I will be right back with your guests.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Kings Island is the largest amusement and water park in the Midwest and features more than 100 world-class rides, shows, and attractions. First Church of Christ is a non-denominational church with campuses in Burlington, Southgate, and Union, Kentucky. Comfort Inn and Suites Northern Kentucky is ideal for work-related travelers, those seeking a vacation hotel, and everyone in between. Protective Life is a 115-year-old life insurance and annuity company committed to helping people achieve the protection and security they deserve. CVG Airport has been serving commercial passengers since 1947 and is now one of the nation's fastest-growing airports. This year, CVG is celebrating its 75th anniversary with a travel giveaway contest. You can learn more at cvgairport.com. Healing Hope is an outpatient mental health office, providing mental health services to patients of all ages in Northern Kentucky and the greater Cincinnati area. Players Pickleball Club is dedicated to becoming an ambassador for pickleball while using its many social aspects to promote a sense of belonging and community. ProSource is proud to provide organizations of all sizes with the technology solutions they need to improve their business outcomes. Prysmian Group North America, headquartered in Highland Heights, leads the world in the energy and telecom cable industry. Hampton Inn and Suites, located in Newport, Kentucky, is a 3-time award-winning hotel located walking distance to Megacorp Logistics Pavilion and BB River Boats.
Hi, everyone. On the podcast today, I am joined by Mindy Kershner, Senior Manager of Communications at CVG. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy to tell our story any chance we get. So Thanks for having me.
Of course. And you guys obviously sponsor the podcast. So I want to say thank you for being a podcast sponsor. Additionally, for being on today. But there's so much going on at the airport. I feel like you guys are in the news every single day. All I see, CVG this, CVG that. So just tell us about the past year with you guys.
Yeah, it's been quite a year. From getting back to levels pre-pandemic, adding new airlines, bringing some of the air service back, cargo records, land development. We can dive all into it if you want, but we have quite a lot to share. Actually, we figure we should recap everything because we want the community to know that we're beyond just traveling through the airport. There's so much more that we do, the economic impact, the jobs, and we take that role very seriously about our impact in the community. So we drafted up an op-ed, and we're going to be sharing it soon with some of the media outlets, so hopefully it'll be published. But again, appreciate this opportunity to try to dive into some of those things. So I think we're going to end the year at about 85% of pre-pandemic levels when it comes to passenger numbers. So we're pretty excited about that. When you look at holiday travel, we're really at 100%. So we're right back pre-pandemic levels. So we have those ebbs and flows. Spring break we saw a lot. Summer travel we saw a lot. It kind of continued through the fall, which is a little bit surprising. But then we are back to holiday travel now in the next couple of weeks, and we expect to see about 100% of those levels. So.
Yeah. Wow. Everybody's back on planes.
Yeah. And, in 2023 will be the same. And we are very conservative when we estimate what we'll be at. We're saying, maybe 90-95%, but I think actually it'll be about 100% back to normal.
Yeah.
So.
And that's great news for all sorts of sectors of our economy, knowing that people are traveling again for leisure, for business.
Exactly.
But touch on the holiday travel piece, because I know that's really on the forefront of everybody's minds. I know I was wrapping presents. Luckily, I don't have to fly, but so many of us do.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're going to be back to those pre-pandemic levels. So the travel rule of thumb, arrive 2 hours before. We really mean it. And it's just so you don't feel stressed and you don't risk missing your flight. You want to get there in enough time to find parking, get checked in. If you have a bag, check your bag, get through security, and then get to your gate. Maybe enjoy a drink or something to eat before your flight. So that's one of the tips. Another tip that I like to share is to download your airline app. Some people, they just know to do that, but if you're not an avid traveler, then I think that's a good thing to do days before your flight so you can get those real-time notifications on your flight status. If something is delayed or whatnot, you can know that even before you leave for the airport.
Right.
But I can look at some of the popular destinations if we want to go through some of that.
Where do people go in this holiday
Yeah,
season?
some warm places, Orlando and Tampa, Phoenix, some of the larger destinations in cities like Los Angeles, New York, Las Vegas, and then a couple more Florida destinations, Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So I think a lot of people like to travel south and have maybe a non-traditional holiday experience. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that is great. And speaking of destinations, you guys have added so many new destinations, so many more airports that we can travel to directly out of CVG, and you guys have great new airline partners. Yeah. So can you touch on those a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll start with some of the flights that were restarted this year, and then we can kind of get to the new stuff. So Air Canada returned with service to Toronto. So that was really important in May to get that international travel back to Canada. Delta resumed their nonstop flight to Paris. That was huge, and that was in August. We wanted that transatlantic flight back, and we were thrilled that happened. Frontier restarted to Philadelphia, Raleigh-Durham, and Phoenix. So those three destinations were very important. And we do have a nonstop destinations page on our website. So if you're confused and you say, I know that there's many airlines that fly to Phoenix, but I can't remember which ones. You can go to that spot on our website and look it up and figure out, which airline makes sense for whatever your travel needs are, whether it's leisure or business. So just wanted to plug that. And then American Airlines announced it would start service to Raleigh-Durham. So, Frontier restarted, Americans having that service. So Raleigh-Durham's one of those destinations that's becoming a little bit more popular from our area. And that starts in January, and that's the 12th destination for American. So they've been growing quite a bit. They had new service last year to Austin and Boston, so they keep adding some more destinations for anyone that follows American Airlines and likes to use their service. And then, interesting enough, American is in an alliance with British Airways. So there's the One World Alliance, and so British Airways is a huge announcement that we made this year. It is a coveted flight that many airports in the Midwest were going after, and we are so proud that we won that.
Yeah.
And it will be that nonstop flight to London, and it's the only one in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Yeah, that's just an incredible opportunity for so many people who want to travel internationally. I know that when that announcement was made, I was like, oh, that's exciting for me personally.
Yeah. Not only do we have the Paris, but now London. The flight schedule is amazing too. So you can leave CVG at about 9:30 at night, sleep on the flight, wake up, and you're in London, and it's about 10 a.m. their time.
Yeah.
So then you can start your day. And then the return flight is leaving about 4 p.m. London time, and you get back here about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You can get your bags, get home, and go to bed. And I just think that that's a very convenient schedule for folks. So we want people to look it up and book it. It, again, is it's a service that we've been working on for many years. We were very close to getting it before the pandemic. Then the pandemic hit, and then we were just right back at it, sharing all the data and the information that we could with them on why they should bring the service here. So we're very excited. Let's go out there and book it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that, because one of the things, so as someone who grew up in Cincinnati, there was a while where people were like, oh, CVG is just not it anymore.
Yeah.
It's really incredible the work that you guys and your team have put in, not just from gaining flights back, becoming this great airport in the Midwest with so many destinations, but you guys also do so much in the community and like the land development and bringing businesses in here as well, because this is, as everybody knows, just a huge hub for commerce as well.
Yeah. So, we kind of say we're becoming the epicenter for e-commerce in the United States. We're the 7th largest cargo airport in North America, and we're the 18th largest in the world.
Wow.
And I feel like we're a broken record when we keep talking about all these cargo records that we're hitting. But it's an important story to tell now because it won't always be that way. Mm-hmm. We want the community to know, what else is happening across our 7,700-acre campus every day besides the passenger flights. So, we have the DHL hub, the Amazon hub on our south end of our campus. That is really important for that express cargo piece. And the importance of having the 2 hubs is helpful because it's diversifying the cargo operation. Business diversification is really what we're all about. We've been able to diversify the passenger side. Now we have a good mix between passenger and cargo operations. And now we're really diversifying the cargo piece. So we have DHL, Amazon, and what you can look forward to in 2023 and beyond is us really working to grow the general cargo activity on the north end of our campus. So we're just about wrapping up demolition of some of the oldest buildings on our property. They're from the 1940s. Mm-hmm. It's old cargo buildings. They're kind of outdated. So we're demolishing those to make way for new cargo development in the north part of our campus to grow that general cargo activity. So that's very exciting. We have Theme Aero, who is an aircraft maintenance and repair organization. They already have a hangar, and they have about 300 jobs on campus, but they broke ground this year for their second hangar, which will bring another 200 or so jobs, really good paying jobs, aircraft mechanic type of jobs.
Yeah,
so
high skilled.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So we have that going on. We have some updates going on that are our own projects, such as airfield rehabilitation. We're getting some new jet bridges in Concourse B. We're updating the baggage handling system, which I think a lot of people will be excited to hear. And then service enhancements to our rental car facility. So I said that's been, in operation now for about a year. But we're consistently enhancing that facility to make it, customer friendly and all of that kind of stuff. We had a discussion about how it looks so different now. If you're parking in our long-term lot and you're being dropped off there, I think hopefully it's easy to navigate through, and it's just a short walk to the ticketing area. But it's a huge service enhancement or convenience for those traveling into our area. It's the connection from baggage claim right to your rental car, and that's been a great thing.
Yeah, you guys have just done so much over the past few years, just the way the airport looks cosmetically and rearranging things. For people who haven't been to the airport in a while, is there anything different that they should be expecting when they're coming in, especially if they're some of those people that are holiday traveling this year?
Yeah, so the drive up is a little bit different. If it's the entrance road has been open for about 2 years, but you don't take the long swoop around anymore. It's more of a direct drive right in. If you're dropping off loved ones, it's the same. But if you are, again, parking in one of our long-term lots, you'll be dropped off in a different area. But, the rental car center, again, hopefully it's easy to navigate. We have plenty of wayfinding and signage to get you through. But, other than that, besides that facility, I think things look pretty much the same when you go into ticketing. The security checkpoint's the same. Except there are some new scanners there, which were deployed in May of this year. And one of the conveniences about that is that you don't have to take out a lot of your electronics and your liquids anymore. So the TSA officers will let you know when you're going through the line. Hey, you keep things in your bag. You still have to take off your shoes unless you're pre-checked. But things like that. It's our website. It is mobile friendly. So before you leave home, you can look at our website and you can look up security wait times, parking information. You can look up flight status on there as well. If you have a loved one traveling in for the holidays, you can go on there and type in their flight information and it'll populate for you. And so we have concession information on there. Like I mentioned, the nonstop destinations page. I think that is one page that's maybe underutilized, and I would like to let people know that that's there, especially if you have an idea of, I want to travel out west, but where do they fly nonstop? And you can look those things up, which we're getting more and more service to the West Coast. And so, one thing I forgot to mention, we were talking about new airlines, is Breeze Airways. That was another announcement that we made this year in October. And just 1 month before the British Airways announcement.
Yeah, so it was back to back.
Back to back. And so they announced with 2 destinations, San Francisco, so great West Coast service, and Charleston, South Carolina. Just last week, they added 2 additional routes, Orange County, California, so another West Coast destination, and Providence, Rhode Island. So, 2 East Coast, 2 West Coast. British Airways is new to our market, so not a lot of people are familiar with their product, but they have 3 different product offerings. They have a first class experience, an economy, like a middle seat, and so on. So look them up as well, and we hope that people will book those flights. But really, the West Coast is that kind of area that we're really trying to build.
So when you think about 2022 and all of the things that you guys have done this year, what are some things that you think that maybe the community doesn't really know about?
Yeah, so we have an innovation team who is working every day to improve the passenger experience. And it's things that you can see, but it's also kind of some of the behind the scenes things. So we have a chief innovation officer, we have a team. They partner with startups and universities to really test technology. We don't like to just buy something off the shelf and plug it in. to solve for an issue. We like to be able to co-develop and figure out how we can enhance a product or a piece of technology. So we'll continue with that. We did some of that this year. We have a lot of autonomous technology happening. We have a force-covering robot. We have autonomous tugs operating on the airfield, and that can move luggage and cargo. And then we also have autonomous food delivery robots. So if you are traveling for the holidays and you're traveling out of Concourse B, you can order from your gate. You can order drinks and prepackaged items, any last-minute travel necessities, and you can have all of that delivered straight to your gate.
Extremely convenient to not have to wait in line. You just get the little robot to do what you need it to do.
Yeah, right. So we can expect that to continue. We're also working on advanced air mobility and drones and doing a lot of testing and some innovative things at the airport that we operate now in Oxford, so the Miami University Airport. That's a general aviation airport, and so it's we have the ability to kind of test some things there. So.
Yeah, that is very cool. When you think about innovation and all the things that you guys have done this past year, what does 2023 look like for you all?
Yeah, so the first half of the year will really be launching the 2 new airlines. So
right.
Breeze Airways starts February 8th, and British Airways starts June 5th. So we'll be very busy getting them, operationally ready, promoting them, making sure that people are aware, and booking those flights.
Mm-hmm.
So the first half of the year will be probably a lot focused on that. We do expect our passenger numbers to get back to those pre-pandemic levels. I think I mentioned we do some very conservative estimates, so we're estimating about 90 to 95%, but I think we might get back to that 100% level. Cargo will continue to grow and develop. We will be actively out there recruiting some new developers. I mentioned the demolition of old cargo buildings and hoping to build new in the north end of our campus. We also have a concept that we're working on called Hangar Row, and that is just developing more maintenance and repair capabilities, cargo support services on campus. So we'll be recruiting those, and we have great teams working on those initiatives.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, I am looking very forward to seeing everything that you guys do in the new year. I know it is going to be very exciting. Yeah. But Mindy, before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to share with our podcast viewers and listeners today?
Yeah, so I know we covered a lot today, and I hope that people will follow us on social media. We have a monthly newsletter. It's called Flight Lines, and you can sign up for that. Again, it'll send you, the best highlights of that month. And so you can get plugged in and stay up to date with us throughout the year.
Yeah, and that is awesome. And Mindy, actually, there is one last thing that I totally forgot to ask you about. This year, you guys celebrated your 75th anniversary.
We did, yeah.
And that was very exciting. I know there was a giveaway going on earlier in the year. Is that still something that people can enter right now?
Yes. Up until December 31st, we'll do our last drawing. And it's been very exciting to do a drawing each month, and we contact the winner, and they're just so appreciative, and it's been a really nice way to celebrate, and we've been featuring a new airline partner each month, and being able to celebrate the milestones and how far we've come and all the progress we've made in the last decade. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. It's been a great year.
Yeah, well, Mindy, thank you again so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your time and sharing all of the great things that CVG has done this year.
Thank you.
Hi, Nancy Spivey with the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, and today's Northern Kentucky at Work podcast guest is Abdullah Al Bahrani.
Well done.
Correct? Great.
Well done. You pronounced it correctly. Thank you for having me.
And you're an economist with NKU, right? And that's our favorite college in the market right now. So let's talk a little bit about the Haile College of Business, and help me as an employer understand how do I navigate that and what services are available at the college.
Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. The Haile College of Business is an asset to the region, and one thing that we're trying to do a better job of is connecting with industry partners. So for our industry partners that are out there, we want them to think of us as a resource, reach out to us. We have talented students, faculty that can help leverage our skill sets to make sure that we're solving the problems that they're facing and helping them answer the questions that they need answered.
Okay. So give me an idea then. I know I had the opportunity to visit with a team of your folks out there not long ago, and I understand there's a pool of international students that are seeking internships. How do we access that pipeline of talent?
Yeah, so as the Interim Associate Dean for Graduate Studies and Research, I'll be your contact. Reach out to me. We have a very strong Master's of Business Administration, very strong Master's in Accountancy, with a lot of international students and also domestic students that are looking for internships and looking for opportunities to help our businesses in our region.
So give me an idea, how many students are we talking about in those majors?
So our Master's of Business Administration has 800 students, but locally on campus we have about 60 right now that could be a resource to businesses, and we could develop partnerships with businesses where we're bringing their projects into our classroom and equipping the students with these experiential learning opportunities, but also equipping the businesses with these answers that they need.
It sounds like a wonderful partnership opportunity.
It's a win-win situation for everybody.
That's great. And then on the other side, if I have employees that are in need of training and development, what can the university provide for me as an employer?
Exactly. And that's, as we start to think about talent acquisition and building the workforce in our region, we want to be a resource where we're developing programs with businesses to help upskill their employees, if you may, to work in today's labor force. We have a really strong analytics program, business management, supply chain, all things that this region is valuing. So we have the faculty to support. We would love to develop programs with our businesses in our region.
That's wonderful. And, I was participating in a meeting earlier today, and I understand that NKU is now the second largest college in our metro region. So
that's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty wonderful to see that growth in our own community. So give us examples of some of the projects that you've been involved in on the employer side.
So one of the projects that I worked with directly was actually with a local business, Fisher Homes. And Fisher Homes worked with a program that we call the Econ Games, where they come in, bring in a problem that they're facing, give students data, and allow students 24 hours to answer their question. And students did such an amazing job that now, this was about 8 months ago, I actually just met with one of my students that participated in the program, and she has a full-time position with Fisher Homes. So it's a great way to get to learn about the talent that we have while they're in school, and then build that pipeline, a stronger pipeline between higher education and industry.
So it's taking an employer that has a need, connecting them with the student talent, and then challenging them to work together. And obviously that becomes not only a learning experiential opportunity for the student, but it becomes a pipeline for a workforce, obviously, potential.
And in today's world, talent acquisition is costly. So if we could minimize that cost for businesses, for them to observe the employees before they hire them and allow them to pick the best talent that works for them, it's a win-win once again for everybody involved. The students are happy, we're happy as faculty and administrators, but most importantly, we allow the businesses in our area to grow successfully.
That's great. Well, we need all the partnership we can get, right, in our community,
yes.
The economy we're in right now. So I understand that there might be an opportunity as an employer for us to host events on your site, and give me an idea of other ways that we can get support from NKU.
Nancy, that's a great question. So one opportunity that is available is the Haile College of Business has amazing space that businesses can host their meetings there, can include faculty members. Another area that I've recently had a conversation is I've heard a lot of the boards in our region are looking to diversify their board members. You have a pool of talented individuals in our faculty that come from across the world, from across different demographics and experiences. So this is another way where we could build this partnership between the Haile College of Business and our industry partners, is by staffing their boards with a diverse group of partners.
That's a great opportunity. So tell us a little bit about your background.
So I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, but I'm originally from the Middle East. So I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, did my PhD at the University of Kentucky, and now teach at Northern Kentucky University. So I call myself a Kentucky boy. I love this region. I love the energy that is happening in Northern Kentucky. And that's why I love being at the Haile College of Business. There's a lot of amazing things happening. And to have an impact on the region by developing the talent and the employee skill sets is something that, I don't take lightly. It's a big honor for me. So that's my background. I'm an economist by training. So anybody that needs any data analysis, any labor market and housing market are my areas of interest. So if you're interested in something of that sort, reach out. We would love to work on some projects for you.
I can think of a couple of things I want to tap you.
Reach out.
That's great. And I understand you have a podcast. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to increase access to economics. I believe that people that have a better understanding of economics make better decisions in life and better decisions in business. So I've developed a YouTube channel called Economics with Dr. A, where we take current economic concepts or news and make them accessible to the 20 to 30-year-old that really needs to know, what does this news mean to me?
Oh, that sounds like something that all of us could have used. Some of us right now, some of us 20 years ago or so, right?
Exactly, yeah. Hopefully others find it helpful to make the decisions that they need to make in life.
Great. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to continuing the conversation, and hopefully you'll have employers giving you a call, because I think this service is much needed and certainly valuable.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG today. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Mindy and Abdullah. Don't forget that we will be on a holiday break from the podcast until January 9th, 2023. The Northern Kentucky Chamber wishes you and your loved ones a happy, safe, and healthy holiday season and new year. Thank you again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, C-Crew Consulting, and Haran. And finally, my sign off for the year. If you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the Northern Kentucky Chamber, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. Or if you're interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. Thank you all once again for tuning into the podcast today. I'll talk to you in 2023.